Okay, hello dear students, how are you? I hope you are all doing great. In today's class, we're going to talk about a very important lesson, which is knowing how to use have in a negative form. And as students, we as students have problems using haven't or don't have, hasn't or doesn't have. Remember that students will face difficulties when it comes to use between don't have, haven't, doesn't have, hasn't. So the questions will be answered in this video. So if you have problems using these two, if you want to learn more, keep watching this video. Okay, so dear students, we have, first of all, we have to know that have can be divided into two basic forms in present, which are have and has. And have sometimes can be the main verb in the sentence and sometimes could be the auxiliary verb in the sentence. So in the below examples, we will explain and clarify the different situations that we have to negate whether it's don't have or haven't, whether it's doesn't have or hasn't. Okay, so first of all, I see students say that when I have a car, or if the students say at sentences, they say, I have a car, I haven't a car. So this is a clear mistake that most of the students will make it. So what to do? The answer is that when I have a car, I have to say I don't have a car. I don't have a car. And why? The answer is clear. In the other forms that we will see is that whenever you have and has, followed by the third form of the verb, it's the only case that we can and we say it's haven't and hasn't. But if you don't have and has, followed by the third form of the verb, like broken, like played, like cat, like shaken, like taken, this tells us that we cannot say haven't or hasn't. For example, I have a car, I say I don't have a car. And why? Because I don't have the third form of the verb in the sentence. So I have a car, I don't have a car. I have a mobile, I don't have a mobile. So whenever you have a noun or anything else except the third form of the verb, that means we cannot say have, haven't, we have to say don't have. For singular subjects like he, she, it, or a noun like Shadi, like Muhammad, or whatever noun that we have, we use has, he has a car. And in this situation, in this case, we say he doesn't have a car. He doesn't have a car. Okay, teacher, why cannot I say he hasn't a car? The same question with the same answer. That means whenever you have has, after has, if you have the third form of the verb, if you have it, you can say hasn't. If you don't have the third form of the verb, that means you cannot say hasn't. You have to say he doesn't have. Not he doesn't has, but he doesn't have. Why? Because we say whenever you have like do auxiliary, that means we say doesn't have, don't have. We never use has with doesn't. So we say we don't have, he doesn't have. Okay. Another case that we have and has is followed by to, which means we use don't have to, doesn't have to, as the first point that we've discussed. They have to study hard. Again, look at have and has. Do we have the third form of the verb? Of course, no. If we don't have, we use don't, we use doesn't to negate the have to and the has to. So that means they have to study hard because they don't have to study hard. They don't have to study hard. Here, he, she, it, a singular noun, you have to say she has to. She has to wear boots. She has to. It's right that we have verb, but it's not the third form of the verb. It's the first verb form. So she has to wear boots becomes she doesn't have to wear boots. She doesn't have to wear boots. The last situation and the last case that we have and has is that the case that we use haven't and hasn't. And to know that this is the very single case. This is the only case that we use haven't and hasn't. And whenever you have and has, followed by the third form of the verb, like done, like played, like watched, like taken, like shown, or whatever verb that you have, the case should be only the third form of the verb. Now look at these examples. We have done our job. We have done our job. Do we have? Yes, we have. Do we have the third form of the verb? Yes, we have the third form of the verb. If we have the third form of the verb, then that means I can say haven't. I can say haven't. But if we don't have the third form of the verb, just like the first and the second situation that we've explained, that means we cannot. But here we have the third form of the verb. That means I can say have becomes haven't. So we have done our job. We haven't done our job. The example for the singular subjects like he, she, it, and any singular noun that you have, she has read. And by the way, the pronunciation is read for the past simple and the PP of the verb, we say read, not read. So she has read the book. She has read the book. Do we have or has? Yes, we have. Do we have the third form of the verb? Yes, I have. How do I know? These are the irregular verbs that students have to know. So since I have the third form of the verb, that means I can negate by using hasn't. So she has read the book, she hasn't read the book. So basically we have three situations relating to have, haven't, doesn't have, hasn't, which were when to use haven't, when to use hasn't, when to use don't have, when to use doesn't have. So if I tell you encourage, اگر با کردی پیتام بلام هاوران خوشایستان بگشتی باسی بکارنانی have و has مان کرد. طلبا بگشتی فرخواز بگشتی کشی لبکارنانی have کاته کدیه ورسیک نریبکه. همو من روزانه أو رسيمان برجوية كوتوا ياخذ مانا كدلين I have a mobile, I have a car. بلام كي شكل ويدا كاتي كديتا سر حالتي negation كاتي كدمان هي رستك نريبكين في الخوازان طلبان ياخذ أواني ك بإنجليزي قصة كان زورك لو أنا كيشان هي كتيدا I have a car دلين I haven't a car. I haven't a car هلا بو هلا لبر أوي أجر تبيني كين do I have has شوي سامي verb مانية هركاتك do I have has شوي سامي verb مان نبو أو أنا توانين به have has رستك نركين بلكو بو have دبي بيكينا don't have وبو هازش دبي بيكينا doesn't have. نمونه یکم و دوم یک شوازن که دلم یک شوازن ما بس مال لوی ده که لهر دو حالت که ده have دبیت don't have و هازش دبیت doesn't have و بیرشتن به اما هرگیز نتوانین has لگل doesn't یا خود لگل does بو شوی پرسیاری بکار بین همیشه دیو بلین doesn't have کوتا خال و گرینگ ترینیان اوه که اما کی دتوانین بلین haven't کی دتوانین بلین hasn't هر کاتک do I have has هر کاتێک دوای have has یاخود هەر کاتێک لە ڕستەیەکدا have has دەبوو شێوەی سێمی verb هەبوو شێوەی سێمی verb دەکرێت ئیدی بێت وەکو play دەبێتە played بۆ past simple دەبێتە played بۆ شێوەی سێم prepared یانش ئەو شێوازە ئەو فرمانە شازانە کە ئێمە فێری بووین و ڕۆژانە بەکارمان هێناون وەکو دەبێتە be دەبێتە was were دەبێتە been وەکو take دەبێتە took دەبێتە taken shake shook shaken verbi کەتت هەیە و خۆی دەبێنێتەوە cut کەواتە هەر کاتێک دوای have has شێوەی سێمی verbمان هەبوو ئەوە تاکە حاڵەتە کە تێیدا دەتوانین بڵێن haven't hasn't دەنا لە هیچ حاڵەتێکی تردا ناتوانین ئێمە haven't و hasn't بەکار بێنین. ئێستا فێرخوازانی خۆشەویست ئەگەر پرسیارێکتان هەبێت دەربارەی بەکارهێنانی have یا haven't has یا hasn't